The next session, we've titled that Question and Answers. Any question you have not yet dared to ask, anything that now that you have seen the entire package is not yet clear to you, something that comes to your mind, anything that you have seen in the amendment that we didn't address yesterday or today.
Small question.
Yes.
Maybe I missed it. When will we get the map?
Between 11 and 12.
Okay.
If it's not there by 12 o'clock, please put a finding on the answer.
Sometimes they also does give out the 22 CCL as an Excel format. So when will we have the latest? We asked our DA team lead already, but he said it's under development.
So yes, it is still under development, but it's very much in the final stages. I hope to complete it actually this week, if my peers are in agreement with its contents. So it's a file we make available to the design organizations, of course. It is a file basically created for internal use. I just want to stress that. Normally the DOA team leader gives you a copy. In return you fill it out for the DOA team leader. I think it's a good deal, but that's the way in which we do this. It's not something we publish formally on our website or something, but in good agreement with the DOA team leader, whom you should contact as soon as possible. We provide this file, and it will be there very, very quickly. Yeah.
It's maybe a good opportunity for us to ask a question to you, if my colleague is listening. We have a question to you on the use of the applicant portal.
Sorry, what was the question? Oh, shall I bring the microphone first? Who had the question?
No, stop, stay here.
It becomes a kind of comedy now.
I asked the question. No, we have a question to the audience on the use of the applicant form portal.
Ah, yes. I have a question. Ha. Yeah, we want to become more efficient permanently. And one of the ideas is we are going to change the fees and charges regulation. Unfortunately, we have to. By this, we want to correct this OSD part as well. And to become more efficient, we think about the idea to have applications only via the applicant's portal, so purely electronically, no paper form anymore. And the question is, could you guess that we need, in any case, a paper form? Is there anybody who... Oh, there's someone at least.
We currently do both. We do apply on the applicant portal. We also print a copy of that and get the HDO signature on it and keep it in our files, basically. So it's just for filing purposes.
So do you really use the other paper form, fill it out, or...?
We do, because our finance department requires to see it in order to justify the expense.
Okay, and this is a must from your company perspective?
At the moment.
Okay.
Do you know whether that's somewhere required by law, that the paper version has to be kept?
No, I don't think by law.
It's just by your processes.
Something we have to adapt.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
No.
I support that, but there's still not all documents available on the application portal, isn't it?
This is perfectly correct. So at the moment we have, for example, the form 128 for OSD, which is not yet on the applicants portal. So for sure we have to ensure first that our applicants portal works perfectly correct, and the whole portal has to be adapted anyway for several reasons. So for sure we have to do our job first. But then when it covers everything and each case that we could imagine, then the idea is to do it purely electronically. We get rid of all the forms, which would save quite a bit in our house, and then we can concentrate more on the technical work, and that's the idea.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just have a question about the link between the application portal and the SEPIAC. To my experience, that sometimes it takes quite a long time before, after you file an application and it's accepted by the agency, and before the project is established in SEPIAC. So is there like a time limit within EASA on when you should establish the project in SEPIAC, or could it be more automated or something like that to kind of speed up the process?
Both. So there is a human interface between these two systems, which takes unfortunately some time. No, there's no electronic link between the applicant portal and SEPIAC at the moment, but we had already the same idea. We should link it, or maybe have even one system behind. We are working on this aspect. Unfortunately, IT is not always as quick as we wish. But purely this is the idea we follow, and we are working on this subject. At the moment, the applicant portal and SEPIAC are completely disconnected, two different systems, and therefore someone has to do it by hand to put this data from the applicant portal, SAP system, SEPIAC. Unfortunately, it takes some time. Yeah, but we are going to improve that.
It is also planned to include in the applicant portal also the flight conditions and the permit to fly, so to have the paper version and in parallel just the applicant portal also for flight condition and permit to fly, or not?
Actually, we think about to improve the permit to fly process, which is really handwritten at the moment, more or less. But I cannot tell you anything about the timeline. So the idea is there. When it will take place, at the moment, no idea.
Just one remark from my side. Flight condition approval, EASA responsibility, still at the moment under Part-21, etc. Issuance of permit to fly, national authority, state of registry. Yeah, so
Yeah, but we have to differentiate between the real permit to fly, which is coming from the NAA, and the approval of flight conditions for a permit to fly. But I think this is what you meant. Okay.
Any other question not related to the applicants portal?
I have a question for the audience actually, and it includes you as well. Do you have any problem with the SEPIAC system? When I have any comment from EASA experts or PCM, I don't receive any notification automatically sent to my email. And it applies to PCM or the expert as well. When I reply to the comment or upload any document, they told me they don't receive any notification from SEPIAC. Sometimes it delays the project or the response. And either you have to check every now and then if there is anything going on SEPIAC, or I mean, with several PCMs, we had to inform each other when we reply or when we upload any document on SEPIAC. We were using the email as well. What PCM told me, normally the SEPIAC should send a notification, but it doesn't.
Oh, maybe I answer first, and then we ask all the others. Telephone is ringing. So first, there should be a function in SEPIAC that we get such an email. We will ask back if there is any.
There is a function.
Yeah, so if there's a technical issue that this doesn't work, we have to check this. So in principle, it should be possible. The general idea is, and we are maybe in an interface period of time, is that we do not look with Outlook all the time anymore. We just check in the morning SEPIAC as we check Outlook. And then we work in SEPIAC, there we see the message, there we get the reply without sending in parallel emails forth and back. So this is the principle to be more efficient as well. So for the time being, maybe we have parallel emails, but this function should be there in any case.
It is.
Yeah,
It
okay.
is. You can set alerts.
Okay.
But it's not particularly clear in the guidance. Sorry, within SEPIAC, you can set alerts on pages and or documents in specifically and various other things. You'd have to have your PCM also set alerts so that they get notification, but the guidance that comes with SEPIAC gives you hints about what you can do, but it's not as thorough. Maybe it could be a little bit better about setting alerts, but there is an alert capability
the alerts could be immediate. The alerts could be bundled by the day. There's all kinds of information about that.
Yeah, just an experience comment from my side. I have received notifications from SEPIAC once, but out of maybe 20, 30 comments, and yeah, so it's I received one, so I know that the my setup is probably correct, but I have the same experience as the lady in front there. It's there's nothing going on automatically, even if all the alerts are set.
Okay.
So every new program, you have to reset alerts for that new program. They're not just general. And if, depending on if you set it on a per page basis or a per document basis, it's pretty screwballs as to what you can and can't, and when you get them, and how general they are.
Stefan, do you make notes?
I don't expect to be perfect on this, but I have received one notification, so it seems to be working. But the changes that I have not received notifications are on the same level, same type as the ones I have not received from. So obviously there is a hiccup in the software setup or something like that.
Do more of you have the same experience?
I think I've set alerts when I receive comments, so whatever happens on the documents, I'm informed. There is a way of setting alerts so that anything that happens, you are notified, and so in this case you can skip emails. You have to do it at top level, not at documents level. Then there are other ways. So if you want to focus on a specific document or on a specific type of change on that document, but it worked. Not only, I would say in principle, it worked. We experienced that. It might be, I have to say, SEPIAC is not perfect, so we are improving. There are other issues that we have seen and we receive. So I will record these comments, and I will find a way to get back to you, maybe with some instructions how to do it, because I understand this is a generic issue, and I will also inform our colleagues about that. But it's possible. So maybe I can show you afterward how I've done it. I have to remember because I've done it some time ago. So, but I can show you afterward.
You probably have done it, but I want to say it anyway. Did you check your junk email folder? Okay. Always check your
It's
junk.
the other way around, actually. I received so many notifications that it's difficult to follow each of them.
I had an experience with the SEPIAC and with a problem with alerts, because I did it, like, I think in the good way, and didn't work, and I sent email to help desk, and it was found that I had a mistake with my email address with some data on the SEPIAC site. So when this guy who helped me correct this, it started to work. So maybe it could be this kind of problem.
Any further questions? Then we can come to the test. Yes. Please take your iPads. Okay. Oh, yes. You want to avoid the test.
Hello. We wanted to ask if it's possible to publish the dashboard in the SEPIAC and update it more regular, more frequent than once a year, since it's part of LOI now.
So we're looking at various updates to the dashboard and how we should update the data. At the moment, it is the way it is. The dashboard is produced once a year by the DOA team leader and provided to you at the annual meeting or shortly after the annual meeting. But we're looking at updates to the system, whether we can provide feedback data through SEPIAC, also directly after the project, maybe not directly, we will put some weeks in between. All of these things are considered, but like I mentioned yesterday, I can't promise you a date on that. There's many IT implications basically that we're looking at. Unfortunately, it is like that. The system basically that we envision, we sort of have a clear idea on what it looks like. But at the moment, we need to find the correct people and the money to make all the updates.
Okay, then we are at the end. So I hope that 1.5 days met your expectation, that you've learned a little bit about the amendments to Part 21. You have a bit of an idea what is in there, what was in our mind when we drafted it, what is in our mind, how this can be applied by you and by us. If you have not yet started reading the material in detail, this information session hopefully helps you to understand it better, to read it quicker, to make maybe some links between the provisions which are there, to understand the reasoning behind. If you have any comments on the way how we presented this, we will still have at least one, maybe two of these info sessions. Please feel free to share your comments with us to improve that material. What is probably most important for me is that you first enjoy applying the new rules. Second, whatever you experience during the application, if you see something that can be helpful for your colleagues, for us, to improve the material, to improve maybe the AMC guidance material, to improve any other guidance that we provide in terms of frequently asked questions, but that we can use to clarify the things better, please share that with us. Please send me an email, send an email to one of my colleagues. We are currently collecting all that information. We are preparing, as you are, for the applicability date next year, but even beyond that, we will continuously monitor how efficient it is, that it was what we have introduced, if there are possibilities to further improve the material to make our lives easier. So any feedback that you have is very much appreciated. Please share that with us. And then maybe the last comment for those of you, as mentioned yesterday, who need an attendance certificate and has not yet signed the attendance list for today. The lists are still outside of the room, so please sign there, and in the course of this week, or latest beginning next week, we are going to send the attendance certificates to you. The presentations are out already, so on your way back home you can study them. Please multiplicate the message, share it with your colleagues in your organization, spread the message, and yeah, have a safe journey back. Thanks very much for your attendance, for your questions. That was very helpful also for us. Thank you very much.